Hey, good evening, everybody. I am really, really, really late. I'm almost 2 hours from the time that I would normally want to start, and I mean, it's not a terrible reason that I'm late. I got held up at work. I was kind of in the zone. I was working on something. I wound up sort of staying an hour later than planned, but not because I felt I needed to. I was just, getting into it. No, I mean, again, I need to find the balance for that. That doesn't mean I want to treat the stream like it's just something that I can casually brush off. But basically, I just got home, got my stuff together, and I will confess. So I want to try and do as much of a full show as I can, but I'm realistically looking at a time where if I don't keep careful on the time that I finish off, I'm gonna potentially miss an important meeting tomorrow. So I did have a plan for what I was going to play today, and that's kind of gone up in smoke because of the late time that I'm starting. But given that we finished Soma last week, I don't think it's terrible for us to try this one. So some of you may know Frictional Games created Amnesia: The Dark Descent. That's probably the one that they are best known for. Now, that's not the first game that they made. I believe the first game that they made was Penumbra. I think this works. No. Okay, I think I have to open the launcher then. But yeah, so the well known game is Amnesia: The Dark Descent for sure. I feel that that was the one that sort of put them on the map. I wonder what the Just gonna try a couple things here. Okay. But yeah, so Amnesia: The Dark Descent is probably the better known game from them. But if you go, and some of you, I don't know how well this is known, but if you go to the settings, like the launcher for Amnesia: The Dark Descent, there's actually a couple of extras there. So there's Remember, which I actually don't know what that is. But then there is Justine, which is this one-off Amnesia story. Good of you to come. This will be a trial of character. Now, I don't think... There we go. I'm going to set this up for a little bit. So, we've said this a couple of times, but in the case of Soma, I really do feel that this is the one where I can say that Frictional Games is a very good sort of narrative game developer. Good evening, System Chalk. Can't stick around tonight, but I hope you have a good stream. Thank you, Kieran. And I kind of let everybody down. I'm much later starting than, like, I know that I've been testing the edges of my like 1 hour window, but I basically just got in. So thank you for stopping in. This is going to be a bit of a weird one tonight anyway, but I always appreciate you saying hi. But yeah, so my feeling is, Frictional does do very good horror games, in my opinion. I know I've actually been running into a few people who say that they don't care that much for games where you can't fight back, which I thought was kind of interesting because I actually find them quite compelling. And in the case of Amnesia: The Dark Descent, like I said, that's the one that people probably know them best for. I feel that it is one of the earliest games where you couldn't fight back. Not had the best of days, so glad to be here. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Kieran. If you want to chat, whether it's inside the stream or elsewhere, let me know. I know, a voice on the internet is not always the thing that you need, but I'm not gonna accept all those times that you're here, making me feel better and not at least offer what I can. But I hope things pick up for you. I know it's sometimes it's just a matter of getting through the day, but I do hope that you see an improvement soon. So yeah, I don't know what one was the first, but I feel that Amnesia: The Dark Descent is definitely one that got a lot of attention Of course, yeah, go ahead. If I don't respond, so I mean, if I'm off of the broadcast and I haven't responded, maybe just let me know where it was. If I like seem like I haven't picked up, I will definitely make sure that I check for that. Um, but yeah, I absolutely want to follow up with you if you feel more comfortable talking off stream. Um, so again, Amnesia: The Dark Descent is a horror game. It's one that I think deservedly got a certain amount of attention. Obviously, it's not everybody's sort of game, but I also think to a certain extent, it's created this expectation that all of their games are going to be like Amnesia. And of course, I think one of the things that makes Soma so strong is that it is a story that stands on its own 2 feet. It's one that tells a very interesting science fiction story. It's capable of making me feel the kinds of emotions that something like Amnesia: The Dark Descent does. But what I like about Soma is that there's obviously a lot of other games which have sort of followed in Amnesia: The Dark Descent's footsteps, right? So you have games like Outlast, and you've got Alien Isolation, and there's also a number of smaller independent ones which maybe you haven't necessarily heard of, but very similar ideas in terms of sort of telling a story through, or specifically kind of a horror story through not being able to fight back. So again, I respect the choice for Soma quite a bit, because I think there's a big incentive to keep making sequels, and obviously they have successfully made some sequels. They published Amnesia: A Machine for Pigs, which was made by the Chinese Room, and then they developed Amnesia Rebirth, and the most recent one, Amnesia: The Bunker. And I am interested in playing those. But anyways, what I like about Justine, and this is one where I think if people are on the fence about Amnesia: The Dark Descent, they're going to be even more polarized on Justine. Justine is this sort of one-off adventure, which again, you can find it in the launcher for Amnesia: The Dark Descent. It's the settings launcher. And this is a one save game. So if I don't finish this tonight, I'm going to have to start over from the beginning. And I will confess, I normally don't jump that much at these games. This is one that has got a sequence that is almost always guaranteed to just make me panic. It's like I'll be startled on occasion. I feel like I don't get startled that much in these kinds of games. But this one has a sequence which, even though I know it's coming, is I get my heart goes races a little bit when I watch people play that bit. So I'm hoping we get to that, but there's a few different ways of going through this. So good of you to come. This time it will be a trial of character. Bear in mind, death is final. Nothing will be saved. Come on, wake up. You need to get going. We've got, yes, we do have subtitles. We'll do effect subtitles. I should do this with the commentary at some point. I think the audio is okay for everyone, right? Thank you, Kurt.
bienvenue. You are now listening to the sound of my disembodied voice. It will serve you no purpose to look for me, for this is a voice from the past. I bid you welcome to my cabinet of perturbation. It is my study of the human psyche, specifically yours. A set of recordings have been prepared to chaperone you through the chambers ahead. There are a few parts to this study, and it is up to you, not only to pass, but to figure out what elements are important. Please go on. Move into the next chamber. Just remember, they can all be saved. There is always a way.
Thank you very much, Narkexy. I'm gonna wait for the arc to finish its deal. Have you seen me play Justine? I know I've done Amnesia: The Dark Descent before, but I don't remember if you, I don't remember if, you got to see Justine or not. Ah. This is still a good one. You've been busy last month. Your part-time course decided to stealth advertise as a full-time course. So you have to, well, I'm glad you're doing courses that you're keeping busy. I don't know if you saw, but Phantom Brigade got a nice big new update, and it is cool. It's actually a full-time course, gotcha. I'm hearing a dog outside, so it's making it a little hard to keep track of the game and the real world.
Whoever you are, if you could help me, I would be much obliged. Help me! Please, help me!
Oh, gotcha. Good luck, Narkexy. I remember... Billet-doux. But yeah, so I remember there's a monster that comes in here at some point, but I can't remember what triggers it. Justine, my love, I know that I'm not as talented as Malo or as strong as Basil, but I'm certain my love is truer. Do not my scars tell you so? I will continue to cut myself as long as it pleases you. I would even kill Basil if you wish. I know you say you like it, but he is hurting you. I will trick him to consume the bromide. Poor Justine, I will help. Just ask me to help. Oh, So sorry, this is probably ill-advised. I usually have my my audio usually stays the same, and I change the volume of the game around that. But because of the noise outside, I'm actually going to try raising the volume a little bit. And oh, and Kieran, I just saw your DM. I'm really sorry to hear that. I know. Like the thing I always find tough is that when people say I know how you feel, that's sometimes more annoying than than not saying anything. But no, I totally get it. Like there's some stuff that it just needs the time. But man, I totally I totally can sympathize. I hope you at least have something to, I don't know, not balance it out, but just a little something to give you a boost, a pickup. I don't know how to put it. So I'm trying to think.
Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name.
There's a way to explain what goes on here. So one thing that I can do is
Can you hear me? It's not too late to set things right.
So this is locked. One thing I could try and do is pull this. I want to be kind of careful about it, but...
Please be reasonable. You don't have to do this.
So, it may not be obvious, but basically the way that this gets set up is that I can use this to get a trivial solution to the puzzle here. Well, I hope you get to watch as much as you can, Kieran. This is a pretty grim story for me to be a pick-me-up, but... But basically, there is a way to make a ladder drop here, but it comes at the cost of... it kind of comes at the cost of killing this guy. And so that's what was being explained at the start of the... kind of at the start of the scenario, either with that recording or when they say a test of character. And the good news is I don't think this thing comes back. A new plan, the 22nd Avril 1858. Salutation, Inspector Marot and Surnet National. As you very well know, the Chief of Police in Calais has turned down my request to pursue Justine Forbel for stealing my son away. Ever since their affair started, Eloi, my son, has forsaken his duty to his family and failed to pursue his career. Since the law seems unable to find a crime within the realm of Mademoiselle Justine's actions, I will ask you to receive Dr. Victor Fournier later this week. He is a respectable alienist, an expert in the human psyche, and he believes he may have found a legal way to incarcerate her. If he is able to diagnose her as a hysteric, it would provide you an ample excuse to have her locked up. I trust you and your agency will not turn us down. Cordialement, Lucien Racine. So this particular story is a little bit less focused on the discovery and mystery, like in Amnesia: The Dark Descent. And this is a little bit more about, you know, are you, either this particular character or even you, the player, willing to sort of let these horrible fates befall the prisoners in the name of expediency, basically in order to get the level done more quickly. This one's actually a bit of a frustrating. Oops. This one's a bit of a frustrating one to do. I don't even remember how to rotate these things. I know how to bring it closer and further, but I don't know. All right, that'll do. Yeah, so the ideal here, I could probably get through this, without too much difficulty, if I went the easy way out. Oh, there we go. It's the R key. This is 100% the way you get up to high surfaces in the real world, by the way. If yes. No. Not again.
Anyone there?
Yeah, anyway, so my aim here, if I can, is to do this the nice way for all the missions. I believe there are 3 suitors and sort of 3 dilemmas. The last one is definitely the most difficult to do the nice way. You will see why by the end of the broadcast, I'm hoping. You're kidding me. All right. I really don't want to have to climb down again to make this work. Always happy to defy the laws of physics. All right, here we go. So one of the things, I'm like 99% sure the suitor doesn't come back. But obviously the first time you do this, on top of the fact that this is already kind of tedious to try and do, so what we're trying to do, not only if you don't pick up the ladder, so first of all you need to find the ladder. Second of all, you need to get up here.
Have you seen Justine?
But if you add to it the fear that that suitor might be coming back, you can sort of see why you might opt for pumping the handle here. The game's pretty clear in terms of the fact that every time you do that, it's going to, it's going to do something. I think you get like 2 or 3 attempts before it
Help me.
it does something irreversible. But
Can you hear me? It's not too late to set things right.
yeah, what I'm going to try for here,
Anyone there?
I normally try to build this thing too high and too skinny. So I think I can actually get away with... Yeah, so this is possible. But you do actually need to deliver the rest of it, so...
Have you seen Justine? Anyone there?
I have some ideas of how to do this, though.
Help me. Please, help me. Can you hear me? It's not too late to set things right.
So, I mean, one thing I can also try here is to turn it into another barrel by putting it vertically. I've never actually tried this with these, so... Okay, so... Funny thing here, right, is I don't need these barrels anymore, but... Too high up to reach. Oh, there we go. Is it really that easy? Better news, you played Cyberpunk for the first time recently, played 5 hours and really enjoying it. Wouldn't have played it if you hadn't seen you playing it after how bad the launch was. Oh, I'm really happy to hear that, Cured. That was much easier than I thought it was, by the way. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I was a bit of a... I feel like I was a little bit of a Cyberpunk skeptic leading in. But, I don't know, once I actually finally played, I, uh-oh. I don't know. I liked it. Like I get why people, um, particularly on consoles, might have had an issue. But you know, my experience seems to have been largely the same as everyone else that was playing it on Steam, right? Like a large number of people having a good time. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. No cylinder. Okay. So this one, I believe there is actually someone that's going to be like walking around trying to kill me that I can't shake.
Congratulations for coming this far. I'm so excited for you. I do hope you managed to save Monsieur Fournier. He was a friend and a colleague of my papa, you know. Friendly fellow, a real bon garçon, but frail of mind. He puts up an impressive front, but it is all an act, I assure you. Please, go on. We are just getting started.
Newspaper article, 19th March, 1858. Travesty at the Conservatory. Many Parisians gathered last night to enjoy the performance of a violin virtuoso, Malo de Vigny. It was to be the grand premiere of several new arrangements of songs by fellow composer Georges Bizet. But the evening took an unexpected turn. Young Malo de Vigny turned up visibly intoxicated. His violin cried as the bow was jerked across the strings. The audience seemed forgiving at first, but started to boo the man off stage as he defaced the beloved song La Rose et la Belle. Or La Baie? I think this is the B. Anyways, the stress apparently got the best of the young musician as he threw his bow into the audience and finally collapsed. Mademoiselle Justine Florbel, who is, according to rumors, romantically involved with Monsieur de Vigny, looked quite amused by the event and had two of her friends, Basile Giraud and Eloi Restin, carry him off the stage. The evening was saved by other musicians at the conservatory who were able to perform a most delightful impromptu concerto in Malo de Vigny's absence. The audience showered their saviors with praise, and calls for encore were awarded with spectacular pieces by both Offenbach and Chopin. I think I know what you're talking about. Like somehow, sometimes when you like you'll go between the map and the outside, like it'll basically be like a bomb goes off in the background. Everything's like pure white. I've definitely run into that. I think it's the like effect of going indoors and outdoors that's going a bit weird there. But it's been pretty persistent. I feel like I should be trying to find the remaining phonograph. Oh, darkness, not light. Interesting. I've not run into that one then. Or maybe the phonograph is something that I needed to get from the other room? Unless I find a cylinder to work with, I don't see a whole lot of value in searching for it. I'm fairly certain. Oh, the downstairs library still reminded her of father. All those hours spent there had fostered a sense of shelter. So yeah, I'm thinking probably I needed to get a phonograph from elsewhere. Probably maybe that higher area where I just threw all the boxes off. Oh, come on.
On this next piece, you should be looking for some divine inspiration. Time to delve into your spiritual side. What do you see? Is the man begging for mercy, or is he being blessed? Perhaps both. Father used to say there were no right answers. Have the light guide you.
I think this one, it is possible to accidentally kill the guy. Results. The tests have been going well. The most long-term, and in a sense the most promising one, is the light box. Having Justine choose a slide, essentially a mood, for every day is a great way to see the larger overall development of her mind. She definitely reads things into the slides I had not foreseen. Her remarkable imagination turns the characters into just about anything, and she is able to effortlessly reduce all her experiences into one of 4 character slides. Using the puzzle lock has proven more difficult, as she tends to always choose 2 slides with characters facing the same way. I've asked her why this is, but she doesn't seem to fully understand what I am asking. Now, Kixie, righto, 1 more week, and no one shall be safe, as I will be learning to attack networks. I gotta remember, I know you've talked about it before, but I feel like we need to have a proper chat about what you're studying. If nothing else, we need to play some more Night Team 4. Cert 4 in cybersecurity. I want to take that at least dip or focus on. Yes. I never remember the designation names, so you could have completely made all of that up.
Who are you? Who's there? You'll burn for this. You'll burn for this.
I think it's in this room that the suitor is waiting to murder me. That's interesting. Oh, here we go. Okay, so these are technically facing the same way. I don't think it's that easy, though. Oh. Soul journal entries. Justine, age 8. Today I played outside with Clarice. We saw a bird pick at a snail. It carried it off and landed on the lawn fence. The snail had a shell and it cracked. Clarice cried and I comforted her. The new maid heard us and came out and scolded Clarice for playing with me. The bird took off into the air. Today I was the one with open arms. Justine, age 9. Today, I played with the slides from Father's light box. Above all, I like the man standing to the right. Father asked why. I said he sees things he likes. Today, I was the right one. Justine, age 10. Father said I picked the wrong slide yesterday when I made the chambermaid cry. He wanted me to pick the one with the sword. Well, I picked the man on the right. I never picked the one with the sword. Today, I was the one kneeling. Justine, age 11. Today, Father came for me in my room. I still couldn't look him in the eyes. He said I shouldn't feel ashamed and that I only tried to fill the void left by Mother. When he wasn't looking, I took the star stone from his collection. Today, I was the one with the sword. Okay.
Sick, twisted child. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
I'm trying to remember where the last slide would be, but I might want to start from the beginning, especially if I wind up chased. So actually, the more I think of it, the more I think the last of the correct slides would be in a room that's unlocked. And I'm pretty sure it's Malo who's chasing you down. Oh, maybe not. But I think getting the last slide might have something to do with this. Maybe I close this down and I take a half-hour break.
King of kings, Lord of lords. Look out for Justine. That demon. She may still be close.
Okay, I am slightly suspicious of the fact that I haven't seen a suitor yet. I also think I completely missed where the where the exit is. I also kind of need to go to the bathroom, but also, if there's only 3 parts, we're so close to the end already. There we go.
I wonder, is Father David with his god now? Maybe you helped him there. Don't you worry. I'm sure he didn't have a family. He probably wasn't even all that well liked. With the current political climate, I'm surprised someone hasn't killed him already. We can't all be saved. Some don't even want to be saved. Yes, that is a comforting thought. Saves us from trying.
Okay, so normally I don't like taking a break so early, but I am actually going to take a very small break just because if I don't if I don't go to the bathroom now, I'm going to involuntarily go to the bathroom in the last sequence of this. So I'm just going to take a quick minute. You got to head out. Earphones died. Manager doesn't you like playing streams out loud. Completely get it cured. Have a great one. And we'll be in touch. Take care. We'll talk to you later. Sorry. See you in a little bit. All right, sorry about that, but we should be able to see this thing through to the end now. Be very quiet. Justine was not a person who would go about planning. The cabinet came about as her whimsy collided with other people's misfortune.
I'm sure you have figured out how it all works by now. Are you enjoying my quips? I think they are quite clever. Not that I was ever much of a conversationalist. Poetry has always been my forte. But I digress. You should press on. It will all be over soon. Also, the police are here. Maybe they can help you.
So this one I just feel is straight up mean, but we're gonna get through it. I seem to remember there's a fun little bit of lore in this one, but I can never quite remember where everything goes. Nope. I think this is it. Unopened letter. Monsieur Floribel, my name is Daniel, a friend and colleague of Professor Herbert, or possibly Hebert. As I have come to understand, you are among his most trusted friends and confidants. Therefore, I shall reveal my predicament in hope that you can shed some light on the matter. Earlier this year, Hebert and I set out on an expedition to the deserts of Algeria. While looking for the legendary tomb of Tin Hinan, we happened upon a caravan temple buried deep within the sand. In its inner sanctum, I retrieved a stone orb which was cracked and split into several pieces. Due to exhaustion, I was sent back to Britain and waited for his return. I have since lost contact with Hebert, and I find myself deeply troubled by the whole affair. I believe Hebert knew more than he was telling, and he sent me back to protect me from whatever ancient horror we may have stirred. If you can share any insight on the matter, I would be most grateful. Forever in your debt, Daniel. Now, I can't quite remember the relationships in the original Amnesia, but I'm fairly certain the main character was Daniel, and the tricky part here is I know Rebirth takes place in Algeria, and I believe it is also true that that's where the orb was first found in the Dark Descent. So I think that is a reference to the game that this is kind of like a mod or an extension for, but again, I'm not like 100% certain because it's been a while since I played the Dark Descent. This is the scariest thing ever. Oh, I screwed up. I can't get this thing open. So yeah, this closes you out of the game. The funny thing is, the first time I played this, I think I just let the detective die. This is actually the first time that I've failed to properly open the the door all the way. Anyways, we've got a little bit of time left, so. I'll see if I can make some faster progress this time around.
Bienvenue. You are now listening to the sound of my disembodied voice. It will serve you no purpose to look for me, for this is a voice from the past. I bid you welcome to my cabinet of perturbation. It is my study of the human psyche, specifically yours. A set of recordings have been prepared to chaperone you through the chambers ahead. There are a few parts to this study, and it is up to you, not only to pass, but to figure out what elements are important. Please go on. Move into the next chamber. Just remember, they can always say, there is always
Oh, that's neat. Never realized you could see him from down below. Anyway, same story as before. Just hopefully a little faster. A new plan, Les Avrils, 1858. Salutation, Inspector Moreau of the Surnet Nationale. As you very well know, the Chief of Police in Calais has turned down my request to pursue Justine Florbel for stealing my son away. Ever since the affair started, Eloi, my son, has forsaken his duties to his family and failed to pursue his career. Since the law seems unable to find a crime within the realm of Mademoiselle Justine's actions, I will ask you to receive Dr. Victor Fournier later this week. He is a respectable alienist, an expert in the human psyche, and he believes he may have found a legal way to incarcerate her. If he is able to diagnose her as an hysteric, it would provide you an ample excuse to have her locked up. I trust you and your agency will not turn us down. Cordialement, Lucien Racine. So it didn't seem to require that much in terms of climbing up the... In terms of climbing up the...
Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name.
kind of this upper level here. But I do want to see if I can find that... Ye do. Justine, my love, I know I am not as talented as Malo or as strong as Basile, but I am certain my love is truer. Do not my scars tell you so? I will continue to cut myself as long as it pleases you. I would even kill Basile if you wish. I know you say you like it, but he is hurting you. I will trick him to consume the bromide. Poor Justine, I will help. Just ask me to help.
Help me! Please, help me!
Yeah, so my guess here, this is more just sort of playing these kinds of games. Seeing an empty... seeing an empty recorder or phonograph makes me think that there is a... Like there's a cylinder that I need to get in this room. And my guess would be up here, just because it's the most logical place where there would be something... Like basically, it's the most logical place where I would have something that I want to pick up, but not spend too much time looking for it. So I wonder if I can do a slightly different approach this time. Okay, so if I bring one of these down. Oh, this might actually do the trick. Ooh, I was worried that was going to fall over. But yeah, so here, like, again, I'll still shoot all this stuff down, but I'm actually not going to just... Like, I'm going to stay up here and take a minute to see if I can find anything else. Yeah, so you'd think, like, if there's a secret or something like that, it would be sort of tucked away in the back here, but it doesn't seem like it. Oh! Spoke too soon. There's a wax cylinder. Okay. So again, it didn't take that much last time. I don't even think I really need the 3 layers, but I'll do something like that again, just to make it easy.
How did you escape?
Actually, before I go any further... Yeah, it is actually that easy. So the thing is, I have the impression that this particular bit is pure Potemkin. Like it's, I don't think there's any way that you can lose this. I do think it's kind of fun that they give you a block passage, but
Speak into the phonograph, Basile, mon chéri.
What did you put into the wine?
Absinthe, silly Basile. Strong men like you don't drink wine. Wine is for helpless women, like myself.
My head. What is this thing? Get me out. I'm not up for your games.
No! You have to say it first. How beautiful am I?
Plenty. Now let me out of this thing.
No! That is not what you say.
Your beauty is blinding. Ah! My eyes! What have you done to my eyes? Justine, this isn't funny. You've blinded me.
Ha ha! Can't catch me now.
I'll kill you, you whore!
well, now we know why he's so mad.
Congratulations for coming this far. I'm so excited for you. I do hope you managed to save Monsieur Fournier. He was a friend and a colleague of my papa, you know. Friendly fellow, a real bon garçon, but frail of mind. He puts up an impressive front, but it is all an act, I assure you. Please, go on. We are just getting started.
Newspaper article, 19th March 1858. Travesty at the Conservatory. Many Parisians gathered last night to enjoy the performance of violin virtuoso Malo de Vigny, but it was to be the grand premiere of several new arrangements of songs by fellow composer Georges Bizet, but the evening took an unexpected turn. Young Malo de Vigny turned up and visibly intoxicated. His violin cried as the bow was jerked across the strings. The audience seemed forgiving at first, but started to boo the man off stage as he defaced the beloved song, La Rose et l'Abeille. The stress apparently got the best of the young musician as he threw his bow into the audience and finally collapsed. Mademoiselle Justine Florbel, who is according to rumors romantically involved with Monsieur de Vigny, looked quite amused by the event and had two of her friends, Basile Giroux and Eloi Racine, carry him off the stage. The evening was saved by other musicians at the conservatory who were able to perform a most delightful impromptu concerto in Malo de Vigny's absence. The audience showered their saviors with praise, and calls for encore were awarded with spectacular pieces by both Offenbach and Chopin. Downstairs library still reminded her of father. All those hours spent there had fostered a sense of shelter. So I think it was just slide like 3 and 4, but
On this next piece, you should be looking for some divine inspiration. Time to delve into your spiritual side. What do you see? Is the man begging for mercy, or is he being blessed? Perhaps both. Father used to say there were no right answers. Have the light guide you.
yes, I don't think we used slide 2 at all. Results, the tests have been going well. The most long-term, and in a sense most promising one, is the light box. Having Justine choose a slide, essentially a mood, for every day is a great way to see the larger overall development of her mind. She definitely reads things into the slides I had not foreseen. Her remarkable imagination turns characters into just about anything, and she is able to effortlessly reduce all her experiences into one of the 4 character slides. Using the puzzle lock has proven more difficult, as she tends to always choose 2 slides with characters facing the same way. I've asked her why this is, but she doesn't seem to fully understand what I am asking. Soul Journal entries, Justine, age 8. I always feel bad reading this one. Today I played outside with Clarice. We saw a bird pick at a snail. It carried it off and landed on the lawn fence. The snail had a shell and it cracked. Clarice cried and I comforted her. The new maid heard us and came out and scolded Clarice for playing with me. The bird took off in the air. Today I was the one with the open arms. Justine, age 9. Today I played with the slides from Father's light box. Above all, I like the man standing to the right. Father asked why. I said he sees things he likes. Today I was the right one. Justine, 10. Father said I picked the wrong slide yesterday when I made the chambermaid cry. He wanted me to pick the one with the sword, while I picked the man on the right. I never picked the one with the sword. Today I was the one kneeling. Justine, age 11. Father came for me in my room. I still couldn't look him in the eyes. He said I shouldn't feel ashamed and that I only tried to fill the void left by Mother. When he wasn't looking, I took the Starstone from his collection. Today I was the one with the sword.
Who are you? Who's there?
I'm pretty sure it was 4 and 3.
You'll burn for this. You look out for Justine. That demon. She may kill you close.
I realize it's a little corny for me to not do the light box thing again, but we just did it a little while ago, so.
I wonder, is Father David with his god now? Maybe you helped him there. Don't you worry. I'm sure he didn't have a family. He probably wasn't even all that well liked. With the current political climate, I'm surprised someone hasn't killed him already. We can't all be saved. Some don't even want to be saved. Yes, that is a comforting thought. Saves us from trying.
Oh, you're kidding me. I'm not quite sure what triggered that. All right. I really wanted to get to the end of this time, but I'm actually starting to run out of time. In fairness, I was really close to him this time, and there was no reason for that. The only one I've ever really felt that worried about, the only one that I've actually felt that threatened by usually has been that third one. And it's just because it's so easy in this game to trip up and and like not do well. Basically, what happened to me the first time that I died, that you just don't roll up the door fast enough. But anyways, if I think I'll say this is maybe the last attempt.
Bienvenue. You are now listening to the sound of my disembodied voice. It will serve you no purpose to look for me, for this is a voice from the past. I bid you welcome to my cabinet of...
Like I said, I feel a little bad at doing a stream like this. I usually, like, if I start late, the intention is always to try and do a full stream, try and do as best as I can, but especially just because it's a weekday and because I got started so late, I thought this was at least, it kind of rhymed enough with what I normally do, or not normally do, but what I've done recently, that it might be a fun one to check. Now we've read all of this quite recently, so.
Whoever you are, if you could help me, I would be much obliged.
So what I'm doing here is a little silly. Actually, you know what? If I do something like this. That might just do the trick. No, we're just shy. You kidding me? Okay. Fair enough. We don't actually need to bring all of these down, but I definitely don't want to have to do this again.
Help me! Please, help me! Can you hear me? It's not too late to set things right. Anyone there?
Now, I'm wondering if I'm just going to be able to get away with barrels only. There we go. Welcome back, Narkexy. You know, I didn't take damage last time.
Speak into the phonograph, Monsieur mon chéri. Congratulations for coming this far. I'm so excited for you. I do hope you managed to save Monsieur Fournier. He was a friend and a
Okay. So the thing I'm ashamed to admit is I don't remember. You could fix her. The important thing is that you try.
On this next piece, you should be looking for some divine inspiration. Time to delve into your spiritual side. What do you see? Is the man begging for mercy, or is he being blessed? Perhaps both. Father used to say there were no right answers. Have the light guide you.
Who are you? Who's there? Look out for Justine. That demon. She may kill you close.
Alright, so I'm going to try not to be... Oh, you know what? It might be that only Basile is blind.
I wonder, is Father David with his God now? Maybe you helped him there. Don't you worry. I'm sure.
This is probably the time I can leg it, but... Alright, abdicating, abyssinating the suitors had not been part of the original plan.
I'm sure you have figured out how it all works by now. Are you enjoying my quips? I think they are quite clever. Not that I was ever much of a conversationalist. Poetry has always been my forte. But I digress. You should press on. It will all be over soon. Also, the police are here. Maybe they can help you.
Alright. In addition to the fact that this is the one that always makes me panic. This is now the one that the one that I feel a particular vendetta against. You will find out at the end, Narkexi. Monsieur Fleurbel, my name is Daniel, a friend and colleague of Professor Herbert. I'm just going to say Herbert. As I have come to understand, you are among his most trusted friends and confidants. Therefore, I shall reveal my predicament in hope that you can shed some light on the matter. Early this year, Herbert and I set out on an expedition to the deserts of Algeria. While looking for the legendary tomb of Tin Hinan, we happened upon a cavern temple buried deep beneath the sand. In its inner sanctum, I retrieved a stone orb which was cracked and split into several pieces. Due to exhaustion, I was sent back to Britain, and I waited for his return. I have since lost contact with Herbert, and I find myself deeply troubled by the whole affair. I believe Herbert knew more than he was telling, and that he sent me back to protect me from whatever ancient horror we may have stirred. If you can share any insight on the matter, I would be most grateful. Forever in your debt, Daniel. The pounding is the worst. Okay, now if you'll excuse me, I'm just going to go to the bathroom for the next 45 minutes. When she first imagined the cabinet, it was for her amusement, but since it has grown into something more important, an opportunity to reveal her most suppressed desires.
Inspector Moreau, are you still with us? I'm looking forward to see if you managed to save him or not. I know very little about him, but surely he had a family, don't you think? Poor, poor, fatherless children. But he falls on his own sword. His kind is not meant to come for people like me. Laws are made for cretins. The aristocracy doesn't need to know right from wrong. We are always right.
Unfinished letter. The 2nd February 1839. Herbert, I have contacted the consulate and they said that they will send you the permits you need for visiting Algeria. I wish you good luck on your search and that your findings will come at a lower price than mine. I'm at a loss with my studies. My daughter has become distraught and distant. I did little to control her behavior, yet I believe the very notion of my observation has made her this way. My scientific indifference to our tests has not left her with an indifferent opinion. She finds my lack of reaction disappointing. She judges me, and most importantly herself, by the results of the tests. The reason I have had trouble finding any consistency within her character is because she tries different approaches to provoke me, and her actions only become more and more disturbing. Yesterday I lost myself and scolded her. She was terrified and humiliated. It gladdens me greatly to bring my studies to a close without seeing it to the end, but I can no longer justify my research. I have to mend my relationship with my daughter. I actually don't remember this bit too well. What was Mother like? She was the most beautiful creature ever to grace this world. I can't remember what she looked like, no matter how hard I try. Her beauty was blinding, Justine. We could never dare to chain such a memory to our minds. It would be too much to bear. Which, I feel like I've gotten the Basile recording before, but definitely I've had playthroughs where I haven't gotten that one, and this isn't the... This is where it came from, right?
Well done. You have triumphed, conquered my cabinet. I wish I could tell you how you did, but alas, this is a recording. You will have to figure it out all by yourself. Did anyone survive? The doctor? The priest? Or perhaps the policeman? Who was allowed to live? Why? You should really reflect on these past events and consider what they meant to you, what you have learned about your true nature. Father never knew me. He thought he did, but then he was frightened. And nothing was ever the same again. I can still see him, lying there on the floor. He looked so surprised. The star-shaped soapstone stained by his blood fell to the floor with a sonorous thud. Blame me not, for I was but a child. With careful ambition, I dare to smile. Rest in peace, Papa.
Just hurry, it's not too late. What will that perfect spare bring? I don't know if I can quite stand the dark sounds. Liar, how does 2 use dust as a sore muse? It pleases me. Only actually don't remember this at all. I don't know if this is a new section that comes for saving everyone, or if this is a... Stay alive. I remember this bit, though.
And so it comes to an end. Now that you have seen what you truly are, you are able to go on and face eternity without fear, without doubt. This was the best one yet. So elaborate. It's just too much. Enough of this. Get up, Justine.
Well done, child. God be praised. You have saved us, child. Open the door.
Hey, you! Almost free. Come on, get us out of here!
I don't think you even have the option of opening this thing.
It's all right. No one will be coming through that door. It's locked and bolted.
But yes,
Don't want any of the guests coming in here.
You are correct, Narkexi. You are playing Justine throughout this. You've taken the
Mademoiselle Justine, are you down there? Is everything all right?
Of course, Clarice. I'm quite all right. Is everything ready for tonight?
Yes, the goose is ready any minute now. The guests should be arriving within the hour. Did I hear voices from downstairs?
I certainly hope not.
Oh, silly me.
Yes, silly Clarice.
But yeah, I like this one. It's so how do I put it? So like Amnesia, I think, is a very well done game. Like I said at the beginning, it's it's not for everyone, and it's funny that it feels like for a while, like I played it well after it had been a thing. I'm pretty sure A Machine for Pigs had sort of been out, and I don't think Soma had been announced, but I seem to remember Soma being announced like shortly after I played Amnesia for the first time. So like I was really excited by that possibility. I have no idea if those timings sort of work out, but that's how I feel, at least. The thing is, I remember when I played Amnesia for the first time and I talked with people about it, it had always, like, there was always like it had always been there'd been like a positive response to it. Like people just sort of said how much they liked it. And what I've kind of noticed over time, I've run into more people when I mention Amnesia, I actually kind of hear something of a negative response now. Like sometimes, they'll say, oh, it was overrated, or, it was just the first of its particular kind, so it's not that good of a game. Or now I'm sort of frequently hearing, I really don't like games where you can't fight back. And some of those, so I'll say I don't like games where you can't fight back is actually one that I can understand, because that's really like to a certain extent, that's almost like somebody saying, well, I don't really like games like Gone Home because, I just don't really feel there's that much for me to do in them. I disagree. Like, I think so if it's a matter of taste, I can't really disagree with someone's taste, but like, I do think there is stuff to do in them. And I think there can be something that you take out of the experience, but I can understand why people feel that way. The same way that I have played, like, I actually quite like first person shooters, but I have played some first person shooters where I am just not at all interested in what's going on. Again, I don't think saying something's a first person shooter is a necessary or sufficient condition for me to enjoy it. Again, that's an easy one to just sort of chalk up to people, people having different tastes. I just find it a little funny that it's specifically Amnesia that's being mentioned as this one. But like I said, I think Frictional is definitely a company which is a little bit more focused on telling good stories, and it happens to be that the stories that it tells are more horror ones. I think they would be quite capable of telling a good conventional story without horror elements. Just, again, it's one of these things where you'd sort of say, well, what exactly would that prove, right? Like, why would we want a team like that to do it? I mean, again, if they want to do it, that's great. I mean, I think there is a tendency for creative people to maybe want to push themselves, but I also suspect that there is also a certain commercial demand for a certain type of game from them too. So I think the thing that I like about Justine is that it is so first of all, it's quite bold, right? Like to give someone a little side mission where you only have one save, particularly with some of the puzzle. Like, so, if you don't like stacking up the boxes and things like that, let's be honest here. Like, Amnesia is not exactly famous for its very intuitive, like, door and picking up mechanics, right? Like, I think the one thing everybody knows about Amnesia is the fact that you cannot open a door in any normal sense. And obviously I think there's a reason why the valves are like very clearly circles where you can move the mouse in an intuitive way, because imagine it was like the crank on the phonograph where sometimes you feel like you're not moving anything. Like, even I wound up like not giving myself enough space on the door, at that first time I went through it. It's the first time that's happened. But, that you're going to feel pretty bad about that. And I'm pretty sure that there are people who have like died in this and they're like, it's just not worth it. I'm not doing it again. Which is a shame, because like obviously that dungeon bit, the loud banging that they do is really, really stress inducing. And like I said, I really feel like these types of games, I don't get too worked up playing them. But that sequence usually does a good job of making my heart race a bit, even when I kind of know what's coming. And again, like, it's not. I don't want to be like. I don't want to overpraise. Like, it's not. This is not my favorite story out of what Frictional has done. But what I do like about this, and I wonder if there is more space for these kinds of experiences, because I can't really think of a lot of games that have done. Actually, there is one other one that I can think of that's done this, and that was also very good. But like, you buy Amnesia, and this is essentially, hey, did you like Amnesia? Well, we're going to give you the video game equivalent of a short story, right? And I think they do a really good job of it. I think it's like a really well done story in a short period of time that also sort of still exists within the world, right? Like you've got this this substance that you drink to make yourself forget, but in this case it winds up being for entertainment, I guess, for lack of a better term. you still find out what happened, and you're not necessarily playing a very admirable. I don't think Justine is as admirable as Daniel, but not that I find Daniel admirable, but like I find Daniel sympathetic in maybe a way that I don't necessarily find Justine sympathetic. But the thing is that the revelation, like at the end, the quote unquote good things or bad things that you do are largely you almost sort of playing as yourself. And the fact that you are playing this very, this very questionable person, that's really, I mean, you kind of have an idea where it's going. The game even says, I think you know where this is going already. And Narkexi certainly had this in terms of chat. Yeah, I mean, essentially, the time that you know for sure. The story's over. There's nothing else for you to do other than to just go to the closing moments and move on with your life. So the other game that actually had a nice little extension. This one was for this game. This was actually an extension of the story. It was like an epilogue, but Shadowrun Hong Kong had this sort of like free expansion. And it was kind of funny because it was almost loaded in like a mod. So it's not necessarily something that I was going to check out until one of the people at Harebrained Schemes specifically said, "Hey, have you tried this thing yet? You'd probably really like it." And that might have just been that they were noticing that people weren't actually trying it. And it was very, very good. I'd sort of had I felt that I had my time in Shadowrun Hong Kong and I quite liked it. And I was ready to say my goodbye to it, but I was so happy. Yeah, so if you haven't, I mean, I don't know which ones you've played, Narkexi, but if you have not tried the epilogue for Shadowrun Hong Kong, it is a really solid piece of work. I mean, obviously, Harebrained had, it's just gone down a different path. They did BattleTech, which I thought was very good, and then they were acquired by Paradox, but then they kind of, they really only got a chance to do one game under Paradox. That was Lamplighter League, and then they sort of, I'm almost certain that it was going to be that Paradox was going to shut them down, and they made an effort to try and keep the studio afloat. But like, the deal with Microsoft, that's done, so they're not going to be doing Shadowrun and BattleTech games. So far as I can tell, Lamplighter's League is Paradox. Like effectively, Paradox has all the IP from Harebrained. They're out and they're sort of responsible for making their next game on their own. But yeah, I mean, as far as the epilogue goes, it's a very good one, and it's the last Shadowrun thing that they're probably going to do for a while or ever maybe. I don't know if I think you even finished it, to be honest. It was back in your days of Star. Oh, fair enough. Or CRPGs, yeah. No, I think Shadowrun's a solid. Like, my view of this is that if you think that you are going to, like, if you're kind of already predisposed towards trying the whole series, Shadowrun Returns is the one to start with. And it's just because that was a Kickstarter I mean, they were all Kickstarter projects, but that was a Kickstarter project to like show that could be made. And I think Daggerfall was originally an extension DLC from the Kickstarter, but it just wound up being massive. Like the director's cut is effective. It's a standalone extension, and it's amazing. But the problem is that if you go from Dragonfall and you play Shadowrun Returns, then you're going to feel like it's a step down. I enjoyed I really feel the difference between Hong Kong. I feel I think they did a great job with the decking system. And as far as the story is concerned, I really think it's a question of just what you find more interesting. Like I'm maybe slightly more inclined towards Dragonfall, but that might I think that's even just, it depends on what day you catch me, really. But I think the quality of the story for both of those games is equal, and preferences will differ just along whatever themes people find are most interesting. But yeah, I mean, I'll check out Remember because I don't think I've ever tried that one. But yeah, I mean, other than the Shadowrun epilogue, and keeping in mind that Shadowrun was built specifically so that people can make their own levels, it's kind of neat that again, Friction will put in this little short story, says what it needs to say, does a good job with it. I think I like that it's not just that it's like a short story and that it's it has enough of the amnesia stuff to keep you going, but I like that they actually do something like different with it, right? You don't rely on the lantern. You really don't do the same sorts of things that you normally do in Amnesia. And once you know the tricks, right? Like, obviously I wasn't feeling all that threatened by, I mean, perhaps to my detriment, I wasn't feeling all that threatened by the suitors. Obviously one of them I disrespected a little too much, but it's a good one. If you like Amnesia and you've not tried Justine yet, I do recommend trying it. Specifically trying it without losing any of the innocence, because you do get an achievement for it. Anyways, I'm sorry to do a bit of a shorter one, but it's one, it's been a little thin in terms of audience. And again, that's not me like, oh, I'm going to take my toys and go home. But the thing is, I did want to do something that I thought I could do on a shorter time horizon. Here's the deal for this week. I think this week I might have gotten this wrong, but I believe this week there is actually a Dirty Rectangles local game dev meetup. And so if that is the case, and I'll confirm with them, I'm not actually going to be able to do Phantom Brigade on Wednesday, and I apologize for not announcing that earlier, but I actually don't see the announcement on the page yet. So I'm going to say I'm most likely not going to be streaming on Wednesday, but I will, if there isn't a meetup, I will stream on Wednesday. I will definitely be back for Friday. I'll definitely do Cyberpunk. And my plan for Monday, I was debating on doing Heroes of the Aegean for Old World. I'm still slightly inclined towards doing that next Monday. But again, if it winds up being like today, so like if I come home at 9:00, I need to seriously think about how I'm going to be able to get a proper sleep and do a stream. So, but anyways, thank you for those of you that did hang out. I am sorry that this was a shorter stream, and we always rely on revealed preferences. I don't know how many people really wanted to see Justine, but I did get an achievement that I was looking for. So I hope some of you give this a shot. And I've actually, my little hobby over the last little while has actually been to check out open source engines for games that I like. So I've been looking at the EdTech stuff that they've put out. Still haven't played Doom 3, but oh, this is interesting. Major update, total conversion support. Hello everyone, hope you've been trying out and enjoying the recent Steam Workshop support for Amnesia: The Dark Descent. There are already over 180 mods available to try out. This is truly insane, and we are so happy to see the community engaged after all these years. So today we're enabling total conversion support for the workshop as well, meaning you can go buck wild with the mods if you want to. Interesting. I should be trying out some of these mods at some point. Anyway. And now you have to update Phantom Brigade to see everything before you spoil it for me. I definitely recommend starting a new session and liberate your first non-tutorial province and tell me what you think. All right. But yeah, I apologize for the shorter stream. I hope those of you that stayed around, enjoyed Justine. I hope you give it a try if you haven't tried it yet. But I am going to raid Prosciutto Fist, who may or may not be streaming for that much longer. But she has been doing a lovely job with Baldur's Gate 3, and I know she's near the end. So I hope you all enjoy. And I will see some of you, I guess at the very least, I will see some of you on Friday. And I'm hoping, well, I'm actually hoping for the meetup on Wednesday. But if the meetup doesn't turn out, I will be back for Phantom Brigade on Wednesday. But again, no promises on that. We'll see what happens. Anyways, enjoy Pro Stream. Have a good night.